Now, a lot of people will tell you the way to make money is to invest in the stock market. No, I think we should invest in the supermarket. We're paying high prices for just damn near everything, and the Wall Street Journal makes the same case. Oh, it's nice not to be so crazy and alone. The reasoning couldn't be simpler. It's not that America is going to run out of food, because we're not. It's that food is going to get a lot more expensive, so now is the time to stock up, before the prices rise even more. Brett Ahrens is the personal finance columnist for the Wall Street Journal. Brett, I want to start with this. This is what I said on January 9th, 2008, and you've got to watch the face of the guest that was in the other box. He thought I was crazy. Watch this. You go out and you buy a coat, you buy shoes for what your kids are going to need 2 years down the road. Because if this continues, the dollar is going to continue to fall. The guy was like, no, this guy is so stupid. This is the case you're making in your column for the Wall Street Journal.
That's exactly right. People have got to do the math. Listen, food prices are going up by 5, 10, 15%, in some cases even more. You keep your money in the bank, you're getting 2% after tax. One of the smartest things you can do right now, American households, is basically buy in bulk, buy things ahead of time. People have got to get ready for the fact that we've got rising inflation. We've seen it in gasoline and oil in the last few years. It's getting going in food. I don't think it's going to reverse itself.
We talked about this on the radio show today, and I want you to explain a little bit about inflation, because everyone on television will say, oh, inflation's only 4%. But that's bullcrap. Yeah. The country has changed. The government is trying to dupe us and be able to claim, oh, inflation's under control. How did they change the inflation rate?
Yeah, the inflation numbers are a statistical thing put out by the government, and, they're not the whole story. The first thing is they've changed them in a number of ways over the last 20 years. What they've done is, for example, they said, well, if the same computer, if you spend $1,000 on a computer and 2 years later, you get a much better computer for the same amount of money, then that means computer prices are falling. So they factored this into the inflation figures. They've used things called hedonics, various other statistical measures. Now, I'm not necessarily saying the government was wrong to do these things, but what I am saying is that today's inflation figures cannot be compared like for like with the inflation figures of 20 years ago. If you measure inflation today, the way we did it when Jimmy Carter was president, inflation today would be pretty similar to what it was when Jimmy Carter was president. Inflation would be 10 or 11%.
Right. They said that it is 11% now. Do you remember the number that during stagflation, how horrible things were? Do you remember that number?
I don't remember the all-time peak, but I have a pretty good memory of the time. Yeah.
Yeah, we're close. Do people, because I said this, and I said, just go out and you see a coat on sale for your kids, and it's a size for your kids next year, or shoes, buy them now, because the dollar is falling, inflation is going through the roof, money's going to be tighter next year, buy it. You're saying the same thing with food. Do people think you're nuts?
Yeah, they do. A lot of people do. I've focused really very narrowly on food. That is an area where we've seen prices rise 5, 10, 15%, but the raw materials, particularly things like wheat and rice, have gone through the roof. They've doubled or trebled in the last couple of years. And there's a lot of skepticism around. But you know what? I remember 3, 4 years ago, there was a lot of skepticism when oil started going through the roof. People said, oh, that's just a temporary thing. It isn't temporary. What's happening is real. And there's a good part of this, which is hundreds of millions of people across Asia are moving from poverty to the middle class. They're moving from the Middle Ages to the middle class. And they want to eat better food, just as they want to drive cars, they want to heat their homes in the winter, and they want to air condition them in the summer. But this is a huge shift for which, frankly, the world is unprepared. We didn't have enough fuel on hand, enough fuel sources, and we don't have enough food. Now, there's a bull market in agricultural products, and I don't see that ending anytime soon. It is putting upward pressure on prices on the shelves, and even though the companies have not passed too many price increases on so far, they're going to. That's my prediction.
All right, Brett, thanks a lot.